Hey, Kimani, we're all out of sorts. I ain't even doing my opening today or anything like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, who has been waiting to hear from us about the rhythm of gardening, here we are. Kimani, it's like your third time on here, right?
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Sorry, y'all. I mean, we working this out. Yeah, I'm at work. Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah,
Hey, Kimani,
I'm
I
here
even
though.
last time we were speaking, I was in my garden, and then today I tried to be cute and I sat down on my patio with the garden in the background so that everyone could see the new solar panel and everything that was connected. So that didn't work out. So we've had all kinds of malfunctions, but the beauty of it all is kind of like gardening, man. Like you try something, it works, or it doesn't work, or something you think that is foolproof, that is tried and true and tested, that's gonna work for sure, ends up not working. So we just go with the flow. I think is right. That's at least what I've learned. You know more about this thing than I do, but that's what I've learned.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the rhythm. You said the rhythm of the garden. That's the rhythm. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're gonna be talking about, catching that rhythm.
Yeah, yeah. And so, I'm Shawn Williams, and everyone, welcome to Lending with Purpose. So, this podcast is about empowering people like you with valuable information, resources, and engaging conversations like we're going to have today with clients and friends that will help you navigate the world of lending, but not only that, but to enhance your life. So, Kamani, tell us who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into our conversation.
I'm Kimani and Cool, and I'm a global garden coach, and I wear the title global because I was actually had a chance to go to the motherland, Uganda specifically, and teach folks over there how to grow food. But a garden coach is somebody who comes along and helps somebody who wants to grow food and teach them and motivate them to get their food growing, follow them step by step from seed to harvest. So yeah, I'm really excited about this growing season 2023. A lot of things are headed my way, and I'm really excited. Thank you for having me again. It's always a pleasure to come and join you and talk with you. And I
Oh,
get to
thank
ask you some questions because now you're a second year gardener.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what sparked this whole thing. So the first time you came on, it was more or less about like this idea that because we do mortgages obviously, and people are buying houses, and I don't really, and I haven't had a ton of conversations around people growing vegetables at home and such. And then people were asking me about that, and it was like, all right, cool. I know someone who's been doing it. I've been following you on social media, but been knowing you for almost 20 years now at this point. And so it was more or less like last year, like this is something that I really wanted to do. I wanted to get started, and we were still sort of in the pandemic. Well, we were in the pandemic. We were still going through the COVID situation, and so I was spending still a ton of time at home. We talked about food shortages, Kimani. There was all kinds of stuff that we had talked about and things that we should consider. But not only that, it's turned into something that's been great for my mental health, and something that really excites me every day. So, like outside in what we call the corner store at my house, dude, I have chairs that I can put in there. I have an outdoor speaker. Everybody knows that I love hip hop music, but my plants, I guess they're in there dancing or doing whatever,
Yeah, they love music.
listening to some great music. And so it's been really good. And so not only do I guess I inspire people to do it, but like you've been a big inspiration to me, just knowing that, for instance, you go walk outside and any given day, you're gonna come back in with some sort of a harvest, and eat from that. And so that was
Sometimes I
something.
don't even make it inside before I eat it.
Yeah,
It depends on what it is. Yeah.
yeah. And so we've all heard your story before, but like what inspired you to become a garden coach? And
Um.
what do you love most about helping people? And then I tell a little bit about my story if you want to
Okay.
ask questions too.
What inspired me was just people when COVID started. I mean, I've been growing food forever, But then when COVID hit, people was just calling me and they was like, "Help me start a garden. Help me start a garden. I want to do a garden." And I was like, "Okay, And I wasn't really thinking about it as a business or as a garden coach. I was like, "Yeah, I'll get out there and I'll do it." You know what I'm saying? And then they was like, "No, we're gonna pay you. We want to pay you." And so after that, I just decided, okay, I'm gonna turn this into a business because people really want the need. They really want to do this, and that really like changed my life. Just helping people, and then in turn, I was changing their lives, and I didn't even realize I was just changing their life. I was just doing what I normally do, what I've been doing for the last 15, 20 years, growing my own food. So, the people inspire me. People like you. People have you hit me too. People I meet on Instagram. People I meet on Facebook. People I meet in the streets who want to grow food inspire me. And the more people inspire me, the more I want to do it. The more I want to give of myself and just make it a reality for people to grow their own food. My goal is really to get everybody and anybody growing food, no matter what. Small space, big space, apartment, van, car, patio, all that stuff.
Yeah, you should see my garage right now, Kimani. That's like more like a little greenhouse. I have tomato plants that we've, gotten from a seed, like little seedlings. I have
Okay,
some peppers in there,
I got
cucumbers that we're
compass.
doing. Yeah, you got to come past. I got a bunch of tomato plants for you because I'm only going to put like two or three in the garden anyway. But it's just been a great thing. I made a little makeshift some lights, grow lights in there and stuff like that, and I have some watermelon that's coming from seeds and cantaloupe because you have to know when you can plant them because I can't really put that stuff out right now because
Oh
it's
yeah.
a little bit too cold.
And
And
that's what the
so
garden coach is about. The garden coach will teach you how to when to plant those watermelons, when to plant those cantaloupes, when to plant those collard greens. So that's kind of like what a garden coach does. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and that's what you've been able to do for me. And even my friends, like I have people that are asking me tons of questions about gardening. And although I can answer those questions, but I've been referring people to Kamani because he's an expert at this. This is something that he's been doing. He takes a lot of pride in it, and he's done a ton of research. And you've actually gotten certified and things like that to do it. And so it just makes sense to have a consultation with Kamani. And then, like myself, you can take and ratchet it up after you get the foundation from him, and then you can start doing more and more things. Because, like for me, Kamani, I'm not quite sure if you knew that I was going to take my garden to the level that I'm taking it now, and how
No.
serious I was about it.
I mean, I figured you would go a little hard, but I didn't know you was gonna go that hard. Like doing drip systems with solar panels and all, then doing the stuff in the garage. I was like, oh, he gonna be out there, but he's gonna take it slow.
No, not slow. Not at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, for me, like after meeting Kamani, we got an opportunity to build a 12 by 8 garden structure, and so chicken wire and everything around it, and so it's enclosed. And we put a bunch of raised beds in there. Kamani taught me how to put the soil together to mix it with different composting materials and things of that nature, so that we can get a really rich growing soil. Also mapped out like companion plants and like plants that can grow together versus not grow together. When to actually plant them, how to move forward to go about doing that. So I did that. Then I took it a step further. I started to grow things in 5 gallon buckets because I'm like, all right, I don't have enough space in here and I want to do more stuff. Then I did hanging baskets. Now, as you know, Kamani, I have plastic gutters that I've cut and I've put around and made herb gardens out of that too as well. And my latest and greatest thing, which you see all the pictures and the videos that I've been showing Kamani, my latest and greatest is I did an off-grid drip irrigation system. And so with that off-grid drip irrigation system is battery power, but it's solar power. So I have a, I wish I could have shown it today, but we had the technical difficulty. But I have a 50 watt, it's either 50 or 100 watt solar panel up on the outside of the garden, which connects to this box with a battery and a pump. And then I have the drip irrigation lines that go out, and there's a timer on it. So
Oh
In the
wow.
mornings, it'll automatically drip, and so it's autonomous. So before, I took a lot of pride, and I really like going out and taking the hose and spraying the plants. And so one thing you taught me, Kamani, and if people are listening out there, you want to get down to the roots of the plants, like spraying the leaves and things like that. That doesn't really help as much as it does getting in the soil and getting down to the roots. But I've learned a tremendous amount from Kimani and Ku. And so tell us, let's talk, because we talked about some of this stuff before, a lot of it before, but let's talk about rhythmic gardening, and how it can help people cultivate
Dude,
more.
I mean, you just mapped out a basic rhythmatic rhythm going system for gardening, because you said you used to like to get out there with the water and water the roots. You knew when to start planting your seeds, so that's all a part of the rhythm of gardening. You fall in the time frame. Like most people start getting their seeds around January, start starting seeds in February, start planting some seeds out in March, April, and May, and it just become a rhythm. You wake up, you want to go water, what I'm saying, your plants. Then you go and you harvest your plants. You planting the seedlings, starting to see. That's the whole rhythm. And once you get into that rhythm, you start seeing that therapeutic benefits of less stress, mental improvement of your mental health, body wise, because it's exercise. Mm. You
No,
got to go out there,
you
you got
still
to
there? You
dig,
back?
a call came through. You got to go out there. You got to dig. You got to bend over. Sometimes if you got a low garden bed, you getting your exercise in. So that's the whole rhythm. You get into a rhythm. Like you now, I feel like you into rhythmatic gardening because you out there. You know, you excited about it, and then you playing music. You got to have music. You know what I'm saying? For your plants, for yourself. That's like a mindful thing. You can do it. A mindful type of music, or you can play hip hop, trap music. I'm working with a young lady. She just started her own farm, um, Chateau Cocoa, and she said her plants were grown by trap music, and it's for the bougie people, and so that's a whole rhythm right there. It's just your daily routine, how you do your garden. And then you harvesting in it, and you taking it in the house, and you cooking it, you drying it, you canning it. That's your rhythm.
Right, right. No, that's awesome. I think my tomatoes, I'm not a huge tomato fan unless it's like cooked in something, but
Hmm.
I enjoy growing the tomatoes, and I enjoy watching them grow. So mine really, like, I believe last year we had some really good tomatoes based on Miles Davis. So every day I would play some Miles Davis to him. Most of the time when I'm working in the garden though, I'm listening to 90s hip hop, some way, shape, or form. But like, let's talk about common mistakes. Like, what common mistakes do you see people making when they're starting their gardens? And so right now, what is this? April.
April.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the mistakes that
So
people make.
April, it might be too cold to put peppers and tomatoes, eggplant, um, anything that watermelons, cantaloupes outside in the garden now. People want to rush to get it done, but it's too cold for that. What you should have out there right now is probably like kale, collard greens, any kind of leafy greens, lettuce, radishes, bok choy. So that's one common mistake, not knowing when to plant certain things. Another one you mentioned is watering. Don't water the leaves. The leaves, what is that gonna do? You know what I'm saying? You got to get down to the roots and water the roots with your water hose. If you're building a drip system, you have to build that drip system into the soil and the plants and where the roots are, opposed to the leaves. Um, what else? Harvesting at the wrong time. Don't know when to harvest. You know what I'm saying? You make sure, like, if you're planting your seeds, you read those packages in the back of them, to give a reference point. If you know it takes 60 days, and you plant it, make sure you kind of like, look between 50 and 60 days. 60 days is your mature date, but it might be ready in 50 days, depending on um, the elements of the earth, the sun, the rain, and the air out there.
Gotcha. You mentioned growing in your car, your apartment.
Mm.
your rooms. We talked about garage, outside, everywhere. Like so, like how can people maximize their garden space? And if they have
I mean,
limited space outside.
it's funny I say van and car because I know somebody who lives in New Jersey, and I wouldn't say they homeless. They just chose to live off the grid, and they want to live in a van. And I was like, I don't know about that. And they actually are growing food in a van. Like they gotta, I gotta interview them at some point, um, on my podcast so people can actually see this man growing in his van. But he has tomatoes, peppers, everything. Grow where you can grow at. All you need is some sunlight, water, and air. So that could be in your apartment. That could be in your office space. Thank you. That could be in your office space. It could be in your van. It could be in your car. So yeah, and then you can get hydroponics. You can get small hydroponic systems, but I feel like you should be growing anywhere and everywhere. A couple of weeks ago, I got a chance to work with some kids, and we're growing in water jugs. And so they took the water jugs, cut them in half, put some holes in the bottom, and we put some soil in it, and put some lettuce seeds in there. And they all been calling me for the last couple of weeks talking about, I see lettuce, I see lettuce. And then my younger brother, he grows on his balcony. He has it set up like a whole, like you have. So you have your 12 by 8 setup. He has a 8 by 10 balcony in this setup, just like you got it. He got a peach tree on it. He got a fig tree. So maximize your space. Go ahead and go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
If
so
that sounds
I
good.
no, it does. And so I put the hanging baskets up there, and then I noticed a little gutter garden because I felt like there was times where I was wasting space last year,
Mm-hmm.
um, where I was doing some herbs, and I could have put some other types of plants there and vegetables there. And so now I have them hanging around the inside of it where I wasn't using it anyway, and they
Oh
don't
yeah.
need that much space to grow.
Yeah, maximize your space. Like, I mean, I do have a half an acre in my yard, but I do maximize it. My garden only sits around the perimeter, but I also use my basement stairwell railings. I have strawberries. I have like a vertical strawberry system going on there. I also have a passion fruit system that's going vertically. My grapes grow vertically. I have two grape vines that produce thousands of grapes, and they grow on a trellis, or arch trellis. And then I use my fence. I have a 6 foot fence, and I have gutters and different things like that. Also, growing food in it. More so like PVC piping. I have big PVC piping, and I cut holes in it, and I drill holes at the bottom for a drip system, and I got the plants inside that PVC piping. And yeah.
No, that's awesome. I look at my setup, Kamani, just about every other day. I'm thinking about, you know what? I'm about to take that one panel off the back. I'm gonna push it out, and I'm gonna I'm gonna go even further. I have a 24 by 8, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But it's and so I don't have a fence around my yard, so that's why we did that. So like
Mhm.
let's talk about for those people that have never grown food before, grown their own food, like what are some simple tips that you would give to get started?
For people who haven't grown food, I would say my first tip would be probably go small, grow what you want to grow that you love, and then expand out. With you, I wanted you to go small, but you went big,
But you
and
know
then
what? Let me stop you real quick. I learned from that because I tell people, they ask me, well, what do you have in your garden? Last year, I was like, everything, right? And so this year, I'm like, I have exactly what I know I can grow well, and I have exactly what I know I'm going to eat on a daily basis. And so I doubled down on that stuff. So, because last year, Kamani, I didn't have enough kale, right? And because I could eat kale every day. I didn't
mm,
have enough lettuce. So I'm putting that in there. I was trying to grow beets in a place that was taking up space where I shouldn't have been doing it, and I could have, and I did it in buckets this year and things of that nature. So you're absolutely right. I should have taken your advice last year and started a little smaller. My garden did well, but I had too much going on. So I
No,
apologize for interrupting you, but you're absolutely right. I should have listened to you.
no,
It
it's
worked out
okay.
for me. It worked out for me, but I
Yeah,
should have
it
listened.
worked out because you was into it. But sometimes if it's too big, you go too big and you don't get quite all the way into it, then you get upset because your return is not as great as you wanted it to be. So if you go small and you say, "Oh, I did this, I grew it," and then you start expanding out and get bigger and bigger and bigger, and to the point where you might want to have a farm or become something what they call a homesteader, where you use your house as the farm, and you run a farm out of your home, and then you get money from the USD to make that work.
And real quick, I have a couple more questions for you, and I'll let you go because I know you have to go. But like, give me one of your most memorable recent success stories that you had that we could talk about.
I wouldn't say it's a success yet, but you turned me on to somebody, or you referred me to somebody, and they have three sons, and they want to create this garden for their son, and I'm just in la la with that, because I was like, a man want to teach his sons how to grow food, and then when those his three sons start growing food, they're gonna be able to meet some wives that they have some knowledge that they can give back to their wives, and I just think that is a beautiful thing to see that happen, and I really appreciate that. And they going all out as well. I mean, they still going to stay small, but they still going out, trying to make this thing work. And I'm working with them for the whole year, exclusively, one on one with him and his kids, and his female friend.
He's been texting me pictures. He's and we're pushing each other to be the best gardeners that we can be as well. So it's been very cool. Um, and then so like let's talk last two things. Let's talk about self care, and then let's also talk about for you what's next in your world because you've done a lot and you've been given accolades and such and being getting noticed, and you should because you're helping tons and tons of people. But like, let's talk real quick about the stress relief that has been giving you and your clients, and then what's next for you as a garden coach and taking everything to the next level.
I just think for the stress reliever or garden therapy or self care, I want to be outside every chance I get to see it grow, and it really like it has really changed my life. You know what I'm saying? Just by eating right. You know what I'm saying? Um, Skin wise, I had eczema really bad. When I started eating my own vegetables and started growing my own food, that eczema disappeared. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm chapter 50 now, and people's like, "Oh, you look like you're in your 30s." You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the benefits of starting a garden, and then just being just stress free. I don't let anything stress me out now, and that's because I go home, jump in the garden for a couple hours, and then I'm just stress free, and I love it. And then I make products for my skin, my hair, soaps. Now I'm making soaps. I'm growing sponges, loofahs. Yeah, and then teaching that and showing those skills and training them off with the clients that I work with and telling them the benefits, walking them through the different benefits of growing a loofah, how to grow your own herbs, drinking certain kinds of teas for certain remedies, skincare. I make my own skincare, I'm showing people like that. And then just I'm just excited about this year as a garden coach. One, this year, I have like 10 clients. I never thought I'll see 10 clients come my way, and those clients range from just regular people to schools to churches, and I'm really excited about that.
Got it. No, that's awesome. And so, we talked about knowing when to water your plants,
Mhm.
knowing when to actually plant and harvest. Uh, do you have a recommendation on like seeds, like where to get seeds, and if you should buy and grow the seeds versus maybe going out and getting a few starter plants? Because you always talk to me about getting some wins up front.
Oh yeah. So when I work with a client, I always talk about wins and seeds. So you want to get your wins right away, especially if you're a first time gardener, because you paying me and you want to see some results. So I want you to get some wins right off the bat. So I'm telling you to go to the big box stores or to a local nursery and get some plants that's already started and put those in the ground. And then with that, then you can come back with the seeds and put the seeds in, and then hopefully they come up together, and then you have a big old nice garden with wins that you got from the store, and then wins from the seeds that you got. I buy seeds from all over the place, but I also got into the habit of now of saving my own seeds. So when I have a tomato that does really well, then I'll take one of those tomatoes and take the seeds out and save those seeds, dry those seeds out. So next year I can come and plant those seeds. So I have a black tomato. I've been saving those seeds now for 2 years, and I also have a white flesh watermelon that I've been saving those seeds too. So seed saving is very important because we don't know when the big box stores might not have no seeds. You know what I'm saying? So we got to save our own seeds, especially the ones that we do. And collard greens, kale, all of that goes to seeds too. Most people don't know. If you just let it sit there for a while, they're eventually going to go to seeds. And so you're going to have some collard green seeds and you're going to have some kale seeds as well. But I buy from all different types of places. Baker Creeks, Burpees. There's True Love seeds now. There's Ujima seeds here in Maryland where we live. Um, it's just a ton of seed companies now. Everybody's selling seeds. That's a big deal now, and a lot of those companies they saving their own seeds and then they actually sell seeds. I sell my own callaloo seeds. Callaloo seeds are Jamaican greens, and I sell those. Um, they were
My neighbor's whole backyard is largely callaloo. It's
yeah.
and he dug the whole thing by hand. So Kamani, how can we find you? Because you and I, we could talk forever about this. It's been really, really, really good for me. And then also just the fact that, there's been times recently where I go in the grocery store and I try to get like a pepper or something, and the pepper is really ripe, which means I know it's been there for somewhere for 2 months or maybe. It's not fresh. I just found out that potatoes, for instance, the potatoes that we might go get in the store, unless they're organic, they may be 6 months old.
That's
You know,
true.
yeah, things like that. And so no knock on anybody that's not growing food, but all I'm saying is it's a good thing and it's really good for your health, uh, uh, mentally and physically. And so I just wanted to put that out there. Lastly, how can we find you? Like, how can we connect with you? And what do you need from us to help you?
One thing I would say, let me tell you a quick story about tomatoes. So tomatoes in the store or tomato sauce. So I always tell this story now. If you ever get tomato sauce and then you get Tupperware and that sauce leaves that ring around the Tupperware, that red ring that you can't get out, you soak it, you bleach it, it still can't get out. That's actually dye. That's actually red number 5 or something like that. Dye. Most people don't know. So when I was starting to learn how to can, I was making some spaghetti sauce and it didn't look right. It was pink. I was like, why it don't look like the store? And I found out the hard way that the store bought tomato sauce is dye in it, and mine was the right way. And my friends and my family, they didn't want to eat it because it didn't look like the store. So I had to go through the whole thing about this is why it doesn't look like that. So yeah, that stuff in the store sometimes you gotta be careful. So that's why you should be growing your own food. Um, and that happens with strawberries too. Have you ever bought a pack of thing of strawberries, and they look so juicy and red, but then when you bite into it, they really sour, or they not as sweet? That's because they done put dye in it, red dye in it, to make it bright red and make it more appealing to sell to the folks, and that gives it more shelf life. Also, go to a grocery store and buy some apples. The next thing you might need to invest in, Shawn, is getting some fruit trees. Go to the store, get some apples, and then put it in a thing of hot water and let it sit overnight. You'll see all the wax come off it in the morning time. You'll be like disgusted by it. You'll be really disgusted by it. People will be
Oh
disgusted
boy,
by it.
man.
Yeah.
So that's like
If
next
you're an
year,
apple
Kamani.
lover, yeah, you'll be really disgusted by it because you'll see a clunk of wax. And so when did that happen? You eating it, right? You might wash it off, but it don't come off unless you like really rinse it off and soak it off. you eat that, and then that wax is in your body, right? That wax can clog up your arteries, and then that can cause you to have a heart attack or a stroke or whatever. So just be careful, like, of those vegetables in the store. I always tell people, you gonna buy it. That's the only way you're gonna get your fruits and vegetables. Make sure you soaking those things overnight before you consuming them, and then call me. You can always call me. You can go to my website, www gardening and beats, and you can hit me up and email me for consultation so you can learn how to grow food, or you can hit me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and DM me, and let's talk. Yeah, so I can help you grow food. But I also want to mention this year is getting really big because I'm releasing a book next week. It's a herbal book, and it's going to be all about herbal cocktails and how to make these cocktails and grow the herbs to make these herbal cocktails. So I'm really excited about that.
Hey, thank you. I'm gonna let you off the hook, and I won't ask you this last question because you've answered it twice for us already.
No, I
The
like the
one
question.
you
I
like
was
that question? You ready for it? All
yeah.
right. So Kamani, you get one person. You get one question. Who would it be, and what would you ask?
I'm gonna ask Mary J. Blige to get on a Actually, she needs to start a garden, and I should be her garden coach because I want her to, you know, get healthy because she's looking a little chunky out there.
So you would say, Mary, can I be your garden coach?
Yes, Mary, can I be your
That's
garden coach?
that's
Hmm.
awesome. And then so she could just play and rotate her songs, her music in her garden the whole time. She
Hmm.
have some pretty cool plants.
Yeah, she has some pretty good, cool plants, and she'll start eating healthy. You know what I'm saying?
All right,
You
so
know.
Mary J. Blige, if anybody knows Mary J. Blige, connect Kamani with Mary. And Mary J., if you hear this, be sure to connect with Kamani as well. So this has been great. I really appreciate your time again today. Everyone, listen, if there's anything that I can do, any way to help, don't hesitate to reach out. It'd be a shame to have, friends and associates like Kamani, relationships like Kamani and Ku, to help you and not be able to share it with the network. Everybody remain as safe and as healthy as possible. And we don't have a show next week. I'll be out of town, but we don't have a show next week. But Kamani, thank you for your time. And I really appreciate you investing in what we call in my backyard the corner store.
Yeah, and I appreciate you really stepping up and then doing and going hard, and then just referring me to people. And yeah, and so that makes me really really excited. And grow food, y'all. See y'all in the garden.
All right. Well, you have a good one. Thanks again, Kamani.
All right, you will.